Alright everyone, welcome back again to more Unlimited Blade Works. I put my chopsticks down and look at Tosaka.
何？
あれから考えたんだ。俺がこの戦いを始めた理由を。一体何がしたかったのかってこと。
それで？
She urges me and she sips on her miso soup. It puts my spirit down, but I put my strength in my abdomen, refusing to lose.
初めは巻き込まれたからだった。そしてマスターになった以上はこの戦いをどうにかしたかった。けどマスターになったとか巻き込まれたとかそんなのは関係がない。俺は正義の味方が好きなんだ。だからみんなを守らないと。マスターなんてどうでもいい。マスターでなくなってもセイバーがいなくなっても戦うことには変わりはない。
I said, ready for Tosaka's rebuttal. But Tosaka
そう。
gives an absent-minded answer and finishes the food in her bowl.
あのな、トサカ。人が真面目に話してるんだからちゃんと。
聞いてるわよ。シローは一人でも戦うのよね。死ぬような目に遭うより死ぬような目に遭ってしまう人がいるっていう事実が耐えられない。だからどんなに自分が弱くても戦うことに決めたんでしょ。
She looks straight at me. It's as if she sees through a part of me that even I don't know about with integrity and approves of me fighting.
そうだけど。
何よその顔。リスが砂糖菓子舐めたような顔して。
いや、だってトサカは反対するかと思ってた。
してるわよ、もちろん。けどあれだけ見事に助けられたんだからシローに文句なんて言えないでしょ。それにさ、どんなに止めたってあんたはそういうやつなんだって分かっちゃったし。
Tosaka averts her gaze a bit. I don't know why. But anyway.
じゃあトサカ、これからも協力体制ってことでいいんだな。
まあね、仕方ないから付き合ってあげる。だいたいあんたみたいなのを一人にしてたら不安で眠れないし、それに。
She takes a deep breath. After getting ready for some reason.
シロー風に言えば私もシローのこと嫌いじゃないし、私はそういうわけだし、そっちだって一緒にいても問題ないでしょ実際。
Tosaka hands me her bowl. How long did it take for me to realize that she's asking for seconds?
ああ、もちろん。トサカがどんなに横暴でも望むところだ。
I don't care how much of a tyrant you are. It's what I want. I take the bowl, open the rice cooker, swing the rice paddle, and hand it back to her with an extra portion.
いいけどお腹減ってるしご飯美味しいし。
Tosaka starts eating the mound of rice. I let out a smile. I bet I'm eating with a really happy expression. But I can't put my smile away even if I'm aware. I'm so happy right now, so let me smile like a fool for a while. Well, now we're drinking tea together after dinner.
つまり東映には東映なりの限度ってものがあるわけ。一見イメージを形にするっていう何でもありに見えるけど、東映にはいろいろと独自のルールがある。その制約の中で一番わかりやすいのは投影物の損傷、存在における強度ってやつよ。
Tosaka puts a finger while she drinks her tea.
存在における強度。何？幻想なるものの存在に耐えられない軽さってやつ。
I sip on my green tea and tilt my head in response.
何も知らないようでいてつまんない言葉知ってるのねあなた。けどまあ当たらずとも遠からずかな。東映は自己のイメージからそれに沿った本物を完璧に複製する。これに例外はないわ。自分の中で完璧でなければ投影はできない。新作の影である以上一部の隙も許されないのが投影魔術よ。 だから基本的に投影によって生み出されたものは自己のイメージ通りの強度を持つわ。加えて投影する術者のイメージ、知識が本物に近ければ近いほど現実においても完璧になるわけ。
ちょっと待った。それはおかしい。俺アーチャーの剣を投影しただろ。けどそれはクズキに壊された。いくらクズキの拳にキャスターの強化がかかってるからって宝具を壊せるほどじゃない。ってことは俺が投影したアーチャーの干渉と爆矢はオリジナルに数段劣るってことじゃないのか。
はい、いいところに気がつきました、エミヤ君。それが投影の限界、存在における強度ってやつよ。いい？投影はあくまで投影、想像じゃない。投影を作り上げるのは術者のイメージだけだから、イメージそのものにほころびが生じた時、本物と同じ性能であろうと無産するの。
イメージにほころびが生じる？それも変じゃないか。イメージが間違っていたらそもそも投影はできないんだろう。
ええ、だからほころびが生じるのは投影した後になるわ。そうね、例えばシローが絶対に折れない名剣を投影したとするでしょ。
I nod. Tosaka nods in satisfaction.
けど絶対に折れない剣なんてものはない。その剣の表現方法、伝承、売り文句などに絶対に折れないというパーソナリティがあるだけで、実際はそれを上回る幻想にぶつかれば刃こぼれぐらいするし、折れることだってある。
それ折れた時点で俺のイメージが間違っていたってことにならないか。俺は折れない剣を作ったんだが。
ならない。投影が成功した時点で形の上での間違いはないんだし、そもそも折れない剣なんて名前みたいなものでしょ。実際に折れない剣なんてないんだから。けどシロ、あなたがイメージしたものは絶対に折れない剣よね。これが現実で折れちゃった場合、投影されたものは嘘になるのよ。それは剣が折れたからじゃないわ。あなたがイメージしたものは折れない剣。それが折れてしまった時点でシローの中の折れない剣と今折れてしまった剣は別物になる。あなたと現実、その計りが崩れてしまうから。
So to sum it up.
よし。つまり俺は折れない剣を想像して投影した。けど実際に投影した剣は戦闘中に折れてしまった。その時点で俺自身がその剣をなんだよ実際は折れちまうじゃないかこの剣と否定してしまって、結果として投影したものは消えるってことか。そのイメージの齟齬によって。
冴えてるじゃない。ええ、つまりはそういうこと。あなたはアーチャーの剣を投影した。あなたの中であれがどんな位置づけだったかは知らないけど、シロ自身はクズキの攻撃で壊れるような剣をイメージしてはいなかった。けど実際に剣は破壊されてしまった。その時点であなたはその剣をこんなのはアーチャーの剣じゃないと思ってしまったのよ。で、作り上げられた投影は術者の否定によって存在強度を失い、元の空想に戻ったってわけ。
I see. Even projected weapons can break. But it's not the enemy that makes the projected weapon disappear, but yourself. When the differences between your image and reality becomes too big to amend, the projected weapon disappears. Most of all, it's because the one who created stopped believing in that illusion. So you're essentially a Green Lantern. That's what I'm hearing.
わかった？だから投影魔術はまず設計図から入るの。あとは材質と性質、歴史なんかも考慮すべきね。そのあたりから固めていけば、多少現実でイメージと違ってもすぐに消えるなんてことはないでしょ。
それならなぜそれを作る気になったのかってのが最初じゃないか。材料と技法だけじゃダメだ。 今日の夕飯だってまず遠坂が和風が食べたいって言ったから始まっただろ。なら創作する上での発端から始めないと。
Oh, Tosaka is stunned. Tosaka stares at me. I sip my tea and tilt my head in wonder.
まあ、なんでこんな話になったんだっけ。
そういえばそうよね。私たち確か今後の作戦を話し合ってたような。
Yeah, that's right. As we were talking about what we should do moving forward, Tosaka
シロ、本格的に投影魔術をやってみない？
said an irresponsible thing like that.
思い出した。不確定な要素に希望を持っちゃうぐらい行き詰まってたんだっけ。
まあそうだな。第一、俺の投影なんて剣を作れる程度だ。それも今まで役に立ったことなんてないんだから大した戦力にならないだろう。
Oh, she's looking at me with weird eyes again. I wonder why she makes that expression when we talk about projection magecraft.
まあいいわ。もう一度状況を確認しましょう。目下のところ、敵はキャスター。あいつだけなら大したことはないけど、白兵戦に長けたマスターと、あっち側についたアーチャーに守られている限り手は出せないわ。加えて、セイバーが操られるのも時間の問題。状況は刻一刻と悪くなっていくわけだけど。
ああ、けどアーチャーはともかくセイバーはまだキャスターの自由にはなっていない。それが正気といえば正気だろう。セイバーが完全にキャスターの軍門に下ったら、それこそ俺たちに勝ち目はない。
Besides, I won't let that happen. She told me to run. For the sake of Saber, who said that while crying, I can't let Caster have her way.
そういうことね。それじゃあ意見のある人は挙手。シロ、なんかいいアイデアある？
A plan that would be a solution to the current situation. If there's a way to oppose Caster, it's... There's no such thing. The only thing is to break through from the front. We can't break through from the front. Is there any secret passage in the church? It's impossible. Just two of us will cooperate with other masters. Ah, the smartest of plans so far. It can't be just the two of us. They aren't opponents that we can take on by ourselves. There are 3 enemies, so we need at least one more person to cooperate with us. In that case, our choices are limited. People are also mages and have a reason to fight Caster. That is none other than another master.
遠坂、怒らないで聞いてくれ。その他のマスターとは協力できないかな。
いいわ。その心は？口にするからには何か算段があるんでしょ？
いや、そういうわけじゃないんだが、今のキャスターの状態は他のマスターにとっても無視できないだろう。なら今回だけってことで手を組めるかもしれないと思って。
ええ、実は私も同じことを考えてた。てっきり白を反対すると思ってたから黙ってたんだけどね。
She says with a reluctant expression. She must not like the idea deep down, but she must know that's the only option we have.
となると残るマスターは2人。ランサーのマスターとバーサーカーのマスターね。ランサーのマスターは不明のままだから交渉のしようもないけど、バーサーカーのマスターであるイリアスフィールなら可能性はあるかもしれない。
The girl in white and the rock-like giant I met on the first day. Her actions were dangerous, but I don't think she's cruel.
そうだな。あの子なら話し合いに応じてくれそうだ。見返りに無茶な条件も出してきそうにないし。
バカ、シローにとっちゃあいつが一番ヤバいのよ。あいつ初めっからシローしか見てなかったもの。私はともかくあんたはどんな目に遭わされるか分かったもんじゃないわよ。
なんだよそれ。俺はあの子と一度しか会ってないんだ。そんなことになるわけないだろう。脅かしっこはなしだぞ、お父さんが。
そんなことになったら交渉なんて破棄に決まってるじゃない、バカ。
And she looks away, then chugs her tea.
けど 今はイリアスフィールにかけるしかないわね。キャスターの正体がアーチャーの言う通りなら間違いなくバーサーカーは天敵だし、何しろ生前の知り合いだもの。キャスターの手口なんて知り尽くしてるでしょ。バーサーカーならキャスターとアーチャーが同時に攻めてきても追い返せる。私たちはその間にクズキ一人を攻略すればいい。
そりゃ理想論だけど、遠坂、キャスターはバーサーカーと関係があるのか？
ええ、アーチャーが言ってたのよ。バーサーカーの正体はヘラクレスだって。キャスターが本当にあの希代の魔女ならアルゴーセンつながりでバーサーカーとは面識があるかもしれない。私が綺麗に苦手意識を持つのと同じ。世の中にはね、どうしたって苦手なやつっているもんなのよ。
That especially bodes true for Shiro and Archer. Huh. But Tosaka, I'm sure anyone would dislike that priest.
じゃあ決まりだな。けどどうやってあの子を見つけようか。あれ以来出てこないけど、あれだけの魔力を持ってるなら隠れていようと見つけ出せるだろ。なのに見つからないってことはこの町にはいないってことじゃないのか。
でしょうね。イリアスフィールはずっと遠くから聖杯戦争を眺めて楽しんでるんでしょ。
ずっと遠く？キャスターみたいに竜道寺から町を監視してるのか？
さあ、けどどこにいるかは見当がつく。昔父さんから聞いたことがあるのよ。アインツベルンは郊外の森に別荘を持ってるって。
She says with a tense voice. A villa that stands in the forest in the outskirts. I can tell how dangerous the place is just from the way Tosaka is acting. But we're gonna go there anyway. I go back to my room and lie down. Sleepiness spreads to my whole body as soon as I do. I stare at the dark ceiling. We're going to Iliasville, the girl in the white's hideout tomorrow. No matter what kind of negotiations take place, it's obvious that it'll become a trial of strength. Tosaka suggested that we take a nap before we head over, since we won't be able to achieve good results if we go with tired bodies.
夜明けまであと5時間。そうなったらあの子と話し合いをしなくちゃならない。
The young master that appeared in front of us on the night I became a master. If Saber is an excellent servant in all aspects, then Berserker is specialized when it comes to battle. There's no servant that can match Berserker simply in terms of battle.
そんな相手とどう話し合えばいい？
Saying it makes me believe that it's impossible to negotiate with them. However, strangely, I don't feel any uneasiness. I feel like that Ilya kid will understand if we talk to her. Just like Tosaka. I'm sure she can differentiate her enemies and allies as a mage, but I feel like she's a decent kid in a different regard.
まったく、まだ話したこともないくせに希望的観測にも程がある。
Sometimes your gut instinct is usually right. I bet she would flame me, saying that it's a convenient fantasy. But what's wrong with believing that? Is it weird to have hope for someone who you don't know and are about to meet? I realize that I'm gritting my teeth. The man that told me to drown in my ideals betrayed Tosaka in front of my eyes. A guy with that much trust and power changed his beliefs that easily. I feel my heart start to sink. No. Is it freezing? My mind freezes just thinking back at his actions. I'm angry. I can't forgive him for betraying Tosaka out of all people. I can't forgive him for abandoning his ally out of all people. I will never be like that. Even if that had been the very best action to survive and it ends up being the correct path, I will never do something like that. His actions have been getting on my nerves. He told me not to talk about ideals. I rebelled against him when he said that I can't save everything. Even then, I agreed somewhere in my heart. His words are correct. The hero of justice that my old man talked about was just a pipe dream. And I accepted the fact that I have to become like him if I wanted to get as close to the ideal as possible. I've been denying it even though I had accepted it in my mind. But this time isn't that kind of level. I can't accept him. I can't accept the action that he took no matter the circumstances. I won't be able to keep standing if I approve of it.
だからお前には負けられない。
My words don't disperse into the night and remain in the room. A few more hours until dawn. I keep repeating those words in my mud-like slumber. Alright, new day. She ponders in the dark by herself. It has already been a day since she attacked the church and killed the priest. It's been a day since she declared that she will find it no matter where it is hidden, if it exists. It may not be the case for other servants, but there is no way someone as versed in magecraft as her cannot find a holy relic like the Holy Grail. Then there's only one answer. The Holy Grail never existed in this church to start with. Laying out a small sigh, she puts her finger on her temple. When she closes her eyes, the heavy darkness weighs heavily on her whole body. That is simply a scream. It's not someone else's. The scream comes from her body and mind telling her that she is in a critical state of fatigue. It has already been a month since she was summoned. During that time, she has done her best just to win. Her master is an ordinary person without a magic circuit, and she herself is the weakest of the servants. In order to make up for that shortcoming, she abused magecraft that was prohibited. She has been exploiting the citizens. She has been manipulating the ley line using human sacrifices and the threads of magical energy that she placed throughout the town. That is the cause of why she was called a witch when she was alive. But she had never used them before. She should never have used them, and she had no intention of doing the forbidden. So, why did she end up using them for such a meaningless kill fest? She became a heroic spirit for her own revenge. However, she understands that it's meaningless to use the magecraft to diminish her being a witch. She only uses trivial magecraft. It was her creed to inflict certain curses that people refer to as disasters. They would cause people to destroy themselves with their own greed and return to their true selves. That was all the revenge she could manage, so what caused her to stray from her path so much?
すべては聖杯のため。あらゆる望みを叶える聖杯なのだから、気が違うのは当然です。
That is a lie. She knows the true identity of the Holy Grail. She has known what the thing is and for what objective servants like her are summoned for a long time. It is true that most wishes can be granted by the Holy Grail that appears in this town. It could allow her to stay in this world as a physical entity instead of a heroic spirit, thereby allowing her to live a second life as a human. However,
バカね。そんなことに何の意味があるという。
she mutters and closes her eyes. She empties her mind. For a moment, she temporarily lets her guard down and rests her mind. She hears the sound of rain. It was a moonless night. Her empty heart wanders in the surrounding pitch-black darkness. That is where she met him, with a bloody body and frozen limbs. That coincidence was a miracle among miracles. It took place at the mountain that houses Ryoda Temple. Following rain, she wanders aimlessly in the gloomy, dense forest. She leaves behind traces of blood. In her hands, the dagger that breaks contracts. The purple robe was wet from the rain, and her limbs had turned white from the winter rain. She staggers around, holding onto the trees for support. She walked on, dirtied with mud, her breath ragged, reaching out her hands as if asking for help. She did not look like her usual self that is always composed. No, there were not even remnants of magical energy. She's exhausted. There's only a fistful of magical energy left in her. For a servant, magical energy is like the body that allows them to exist. But she was losing all of her magical energy because her master was not supplying her with any. But that was only natural. She killed her own master just now. That is the sole cause for her exhaustion. She, the servant known as Caster, was trying to disappear in this mountain as a compensation for obtaining freedom. A dry laugh. It is funny that her body is falling apart after she stabbed her vulgar master in the back. Moreover, it is also funny how she underestimated her connection with her master. She had done well. Her master was a legitimate master. He was in his 30s, had an average build, and didn't have any notable characteristics. He didn't have any intention to fight but dreamed only of winning. He was a man that only waited for the self-destruction of the other masters into the shadows. The man didn't trust Castor. He disliked Castor as a skilled mage, and he insulted her for being inferior to other servants. She gave up on him after a few days. She acted as an obedient servant and continued to fulfill the man's self-esteem. As a result, she made him use up his command spells on simple, meaningless things. She told him he did not need his command spells. She made him believe that she would pledge her loyalty to her master even without the command spells. In conclusion, it was his fault for believing her. The master used his 3 command spells on meaningless things, and he was killed by Castor at that moment. It was easy. It was unpleasant for her contract with that man to still exist, as she finished him off with the contract breaker. But she made a mistake. Servants exist using the supply of magical energy from their master, but it isn't just about obtaining magical energy. Servants are only allowed to exist in this age because they are connected to a human from this age. In other words, to lose one's master, their passport to this age, means being deported to the outside world. However, one would not normally be this exhausted. This is the curse that her master left. Her master did not approve of Castor, a mage that is more skilled than him. Therefore, he always kept their magical energy supply at a level below his own. The amount of magical energy that a human possesses is not enough to keep a heroic spirit in this world. She would normally be able to last 2 days even if she lost her master. But this time is different. Her magical energy was drastically decreasing with every second she starts to see the end. Probably a few more minutes. She would disappear if she doesn't find the next master to make a contract with. She's gonna disappear before she could even fight as a pitiful servant that got summoned just to be trampled on, unable to accomplish anything at all. It was vexing. It was vexing, but it was not a big deal. Because it was always like that. She was always treated unfairly. She was always someone else's tool, and she was never understood by anyone. Yes, her life was always controlled by someone else. Her mind was destroyed at a young age in order to save Jason, a hero chosen by the gods. Just for the sake of the hero, the goddess of beauty happened to favor. The gods cursed her to blindly love a man she did not even know. With a blank mind, she betrayed her father and even her own country. She has no recollection of anything that happened afterwards. After everything was over, the girl who was a princess was in an unfamiliar country. The girl who betrayed her father, the king, for a man. The witch who cut apart her own brother and mercilessly threw the piece into the sea. The man who wished for that in order to become the king cast her aside, saying that he could not marry a witch. She was taken to an unfamiliar country while still being manipulated, was labeled as a witch, and the only person she could rely on threw her away. That is her origin. She had nothing to be blamed for, and the people around her understood that. Despite that, the people still demanded that she continue to play the role of a witch, an evil to protect the king, an evil to be on the receiving end of dark superstitions. They wanted a convenient scapegoat that they could blame for any disaster. That system hasn't changed. Humans desire an easily understandable evil so that they can reassure themselves of their own goodness. In that regard, she was the perfect scapegoat. The father she could rely on was a distant country. There was not a single person who defended her, so the people could comfortably blame her for things. How they are poor, how they hate others, how people are ugly, even how people die. They decided that everything was that witch's fault. That's why she just accepted it. Since she can only live as a witch, she decided to live like a witch. She just swore that she would show them how ugly the thing they desired and celebrated was. If people do not know their ugliness, then so be it. They can stay ignorant, go to hell for their own crimes, and suffer forever. They will not be able to get out of hell. They can only suffer as criminals for the rest of their lives since they do not know what crimes they have committed. That is the meaning of existence she has imposed for herself. The role that they gave to the girl who had been called a witch and never had free will. But something like that, it's not something that someone wished for. That's the same for her. She just continues to seek revenge without any wishes of her own. Yes, until she met this stranger at this moment.